Hello! Hope you're having an awesome day and welcome to the weekend. So, I'm actually flying home this morning. I'm in New Orleans and I just came for a super quick couple day conference business meeting with some of my coaches for Ironside Fitness, and also that helped me with my online course. So, it's been a really cool event. If you've never been to New Orleans, it is food, food, food. So the food is incredible. Southern food, fried chicken, I don't know, grits, cornbread, really, really what I consider comfort food. And so I wanted to actually talk about comfort food, and I was going to actually mention this anyway. Oops, I just spilled my coffee with my foot. Sorry. So luckily I'm in a hotel. I think it just had a tiny bit left. So, comfort food. Now, a lot of people, including myself, say, when I feel blank, I turn to blank. So as you're watching this, try to think if there's any specific feelings that lead you to eat, not only eat in general more perhaps, but a certain thing. So for me, when I feel sad, I generally turn to sweet, sugary things. I want cake, I want carrot cake, I want whatever kind of cake is out there. So just start to kind of think about what you turn to for comfort. And I want to share one of the biggest takeaways that I've had in the last year. And it was a revelation that came to me during an eating meditation. So if you haven't tried the eating meditations, the 8-minute one that I sent, it's really, really worth doing. And I'm also going to tomorrow, as we fully wrap up this week, send you some pointers, a little mini checklist you could have with you beside you as you're eating. You could just have it on your phone or have it on a little piece of paper. But things to ask yourself while you're eating. If you hate the idea of sitting without a TV or distraction, it feels so awful, you're not quite ready for that, you can still check in with yourself. So if you're not even maybe every 4 minutes during a meal or every 3 minutes. I've ate and I've had my alarm bang every 3 minutes. And that's when I sit, I breathe, I check in with my body. I ask myself, precious body, how hungry are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I ask myself how I'm feeling, my emotions, and a few other questions, and then I resume eating. And that's a really good way to run sort of an informal eating meditation. So back to the idea of comfort food. Now, there's a million reasons why people turn to food for comfort. And that's going to be part of the share today. All I want you to share today is your most common reason that you turn to food for help, and your most common, sorry, it's 2 a.m. and I wanted to make sure I got this video posted before I fly out, so I'm running on a little bit less sleep than usual. So how you're feeling when you turn to food and what kind of foods you turn to. And this is just another awareness tool. This whole week has been about awareness, and that's why it might feel exhausting to be doing all these shares, because it's I'm actually asking you to not only just listen to me and be inspired, but to actually do something different, try something new, and then share. So this always happens in the course when I ask you just to share a favorite photo or something a little bit more simple. Everyone's excited and sharing, and then once it becomes another job, because I know you do, you have a busy life, and this course is adding into your busy life, hopefully in a positive way, but I respect that you're very busy and that can sometimes feel like a chore. But try to remember to approach everything you're doing in this course and beyond as part of your amazing journey. And embrace the work and embrace getting to know yourself better. Because if you approach it as a chore, it's always going to feel like a chore. It's never going to be fun. And to be honest, in human nature, if it's not fun, we won't pursue it long term. And that's why diets don't work. That's a small part of why diets don't work. But life is meant to be blissful. So the takeaway is that there's actually jewels in life that are better than food. that's a weird thing to say coming from, I used to always say I was a self-proclaimed foodie. I still love food, but I actually have found that there's joy in life greater than food, which was a very strange concept for me at first. But basically, I want you to start brainstorming. What could potentially be better than what you're eating to comfort yourself? And so, for me, some of the jewels, I call them jewels because I like the idea of having jewels around my neck and jewels in my ears and jewels in the universe and jewels in my life. But some of the jewels in my life that are better than food, literally on a soul nourishing level, I'm not talking about physically because you still have to eat to live, but an amazing conversation with a really great friend who gets me. That feeling is like no other. Food can't give me that. Another one is a foot massage. I love physical touch, especially on my feet. And so if I'm feeling a little bit soul deprived and I'm sometimes turning to food, instead of that, if I can catch it in time and do the massage and do the heart-to-heart connection phone call or walk with a friend, I will literally turn to food much less than if I ignore my soul is crying out for something long enough. Then food becomes the easy drug of choice to kind of fix me in the moment. Even though it doesn't fix the problem, all I'm seeking out is really connection with someone or feeling physically nourished and touched. I don't need food to do that. I need to talk to someone, and I need to have somebody give me a foot massage or even give myself a foot massage. So as we enter next week, I just want you to also start to think, what are some jewels in life that may be better than food? And I want you to share 3 of your jewels today that you're not quite sure yet. You don't know if you believe it, but 3 things that really nourish your soul. And I like to call them jewels. And then the final thought for today is about sadness when you're eating. Now, maybe you can relate to this, but I used to literally feel sad as I was eating, knowing that it was going to end, because food was the only joy in town for me. I didn't have the other jewels. I didn't take care of myself. Food was how I took care of myself. So I would literally be eating, and all I could think about was the next bite and the next meal and dessert and tomorrow. I would never even let myself be fully in the meal because I didn't want to feel sad. But the reason I felt sad was totally ungrounded. It was like I didn't want the food to end because it tasted so good and it felt so good going down. I hope some people are relating with this. So I would, instead of choosing to eat with gusto and love every bite and be in the moment, I would choose in a way to not be in my body, to not actually really taste the food, which is so absurd because I loved food so much apparently, but I never even tasted it. And so once I realized that this moment matters, I repeat, it's the same thread of ideas, but this moment, this bite is the one. And if all I ever do is focus on the next bite, this bite's going to pass me by. And it's a great analogy for life. If all you do throughout life is end up feeling a little bit sad and letting every experience be tinged with sadness because you know that life is going to end, if you never fully live because you know that life is going to end, then that's a travesty. And, so many people go through life never fully living because they were sad that it was going to end, and they didn't want to get hurt in life, and they don't want to take risks and all these things. So it's a small example with food, but it translates to life. If you're sad while you're eating because it's going to end, shift that. You have 2 choices while you're eating. You can be sad that it's going to end and not really ever enjoy anything, or you can know it's going to end full well, but be okay with that, embrace that, know that there's other meals coming later, and just let yourself have the bite. One of the best pieces of advice I got in my last eating meditation with Ginny and Roth was let yourself have the bite. If you're always in your head thinking about the next thing, you're never going to let yourself have it. So all I want you to do today is share. what you turn to food for, why, and what the foods are. And I'll post that below. And thank you for listening. I feel like this was a very powerful video, not my best, most put together video, because I am running on very little sleep. But thank you for listening. We're going to really get into it next week with how we're actually going to cope with those difficult emotions instead of always turning to food. Instead of saying F it, I'm just going to keep going because this is too hard to feel. I'm going to give you tools for that. So I'm excited to see your shares. Yesterday was a very slow share day, so please share from yesterday and today. Today's a really easy one. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye!